I attempted a POTA activation this morning, my first one with the KH1, and I used the internal logging. And I'm hoping that it will be sufficient enough to be able to actually get the data from the log right from the display here on the KH1. Let me pull this pen out. But I played with it a little bit before, and I'm guessing it might not be quite as easy as I think. So let's go into the log here. Whoops. I'm on the wrong thing here. Let's go this knob to change the menu item. Login. Okay, so we unlock here, and we're going to change this to view and X out. So here's the log. The first thing you see is the very last thing you transmitted. So if you can see here, the first line says it was, we don't quite see the year. There we go. 2024, May 3rd, 1310 UTC, because that's what I set the clock to. 40 meters CW. I sent QRT, QRT, DE, and 1JI. Now, what's interesting about this display is as I turn to the left, I start to go through the log, and do you see the parentheses right there after the word CW? As I scroll left, that actually jumps down to this line. So I think it might actually be easier just to watch a single line as you're scrolling when you're looking for something. Now this activation, I was unsuccessful in getting the 10 contacts. I got 5, but the bands were really tough. So I'm going through here to see if I can find some of these stations. Actually, let me go all the way to the beginning of the log. The first station I worked was NR1D. You can see how awful my handwriting was on that tiny little notepad. I might try moving it to the other side of the KH1 and see if that works better for me. So it's taking me quite a while, obviously, to scroll through. Let's try to get all the way to the beginning. That was when I was on 20 CW, so I have quite a ways to go. Like I said, this activation was mostly calling CQ with just a little bit of making actual contacts. So after I do this part of the video, I will go up to the shack, which is upstairs, hook this up to the computer, and we'll compare this log on the screen here versus what it looks like on the computer. I'm sure it's much easier on the computer. I'm planning a road trip to Dayton next week, and my hope was that I could use the internal log on POTA activations on the road, and I'm not going to have a computer with me, but I'll have my iPad. So my plan was to be able to, when I'm in the hotel in the evening, take this log and manually transcribe the contacts into an app on the iPad, which I could then upload to the POTA.app website. I imagine this would be quite a bit easier if you made a lot of contacts rather than just mostly CQ. I think we're almost at the beginning. Oh my gosh. So right here, this is one strike against using the internal log. As far as, I was activating for close to an hour, and I used 3 different bands. I think I only made contacts on 2. Let's keep scrolling here. Okay, I saw 73 there, so that was one of my contacts. But let's move right to the beginning. I'll turn this volume down a bit. So I ended up making 3 contacts on 40 meters and 2 on 30 meters. And this was between 8 and 9 a.m. Local time. And I tried 20, but I just couldn't get anything on 20. And then I went back to 40 and just nothing on 40 either. The bands have really been in horrible shape here the last week. Okay, see, thank you, Connecticut. So that was my first contact, so we must be close to the beginning of the log. Okay, let's see here. My fingers are getting tired with this. Okay, here we are at the beginning. So, the first 6 letters are the date. It's the date and timestamp. So 2024, 05 from May, 03 from May 3rd, 1222 UTC, 40 CW, and I sent a QRL, question mark, and then CQ POTA from N1JI, K, CQ POTA DE N1JI. It transcribes really quite well. If I'm a little slow between letters, it'll add a space there, but overall, this is pretty good. You could definitely use this to copy call signs and whatnot. If you hold down the message button and don't select a message, you can send CW with the paddle, and you'll hear the side tone, and it will put notes in this log in lowercase. I forgot to do that this time because I wrote down the park number here. So I'm calling CQ still. Okay, here we go. NR1D. GM 599. So let's see what the timestamp was on that. So that was 1224 UTC. So I would be able to use this. It just would take some time to get through. And then we're at NR1D, good morning, 599, BK. And then he must have sent me mine. And then I said, R, thank you for Connecticut. So it's interesting that it doesn't add a new timestamp all that often, because I sent the BK right here, and then his transmission was in here, and then we're in the same timestamp when I sent R, thank you for Connecticut, and 73. Okay, I don't think we need to scroll through this whole thing because there weren't a lot of contacts and there was a lot of space between them, so this would be kind of boring for you to watch. But what I'm going to do here is stop the video, go upstairs to the shack, like I said, and I'll plug this into the computer, download the log to the computer, and then we can see what it looks like on the computer screen versus on the KH1 display. Okay, here we are on the computer. And to view the log, it took me a while to figure it out. I finally had to go to the manual and actually read it. You can see the manual is behind this window here. You have to open the KH1 Utility. After you've connected the KH1, you have to go to the Command Tester tab up here and then choose Send Log to PC from the KH1, and the log dumps in. It's very quick. So you can see this starts with the first transmission up at the top, and it's pretty easy to scroll through and read. There's the whole thing. So much easier than it was on the KH1 display. Let me see if I can pop this into Notepad, make it even easier to read. So here's Notepad. Oh yeah, this is so much better. And I think I see why it wasn't adding new timestamps when I thought it would between transmissions. It looks like it only adds a timestamp every minute. So as you can see, we started at 1222 UTC. The next timestamp was at 1223. And here's the 1224. I'm used to triple clicking to select all on my Mac. So anyway, so there's my contact with NR1D. And oh, let me turn that other radio off. And here's my second contact with K4YT. That was at 1226 UTC. And here's W4DAN right here at 1228. So it's very easy to find those contacts when you can dump it into the computer. Then I had two more. Maybe this was one of them right here. Looks like it was KD3CA. And I had one more on 30. I'm not seeing it yet, but I'll look through. After I stop this video, I'm going to go through and upload these to the POTA.app. Okay, so that's the comparison of viewing the KH1 log on the KH1's display versus on the computer. Definitely, it's way easier on the computer, but if you don't have a computer, I think it is doable on the KH1 display. 73, and thanks for watching.